Hello, AgCarolina board members, David, Buck, and Preston. Thank you for allowing me to present to the group, and also thank you very much for the collaboration to date. I'm confident that our design is going to make a wonderful addition to the family, and I look forward to seeing this through. Introduction here, Paul Downs Cabinet Makers was founded by Paul Downs in 1986. Paul was a graduate of Pennsylvania University with an architecture degree. Paul decided then to focus on designing and building furniture. I've been working with Paul for many of those years, 21. Here I am right here. Had the great fortune of working through the company, wearing multiple hats. The first, 15 or so years I spent on the bench building. With a fine arts degree, it was a pretty easy transition for me into design. So why do we focus on board tables? Well, it all started with the Lippincott table. This was a residential client of ours who opened a new office and asked Paul to design and build a board table. So that's what you're seeing here. So again, our great fortune and a little bit of luck, Google took the image that we posted on our original website and decided to return that image whenever someone would search for a board table. So we quickly seized that opportunity and changed our focus. And since then, we've been designing and building just about anything and everything, boardroom table, conference table. We've got thousands and thousands of happy customers. You can see our rating here. We work extremely hard to make sure that our clients are happy, that they understand what we're intending to do to them, and we work with them very closely to ensure that all goes as it should. Our process is extremely visual. So we found that over the years, sort of working with clients, that the more and more we work with them, the more and more we realize that people are pretty visual, and we feel like communicating with a 3D visual of a table is the best way to explain what we do. Here's my own personal Flickr page. I will provide a link to the group so you can see the work that's here. But if you click on most of these albums, you're going to see a progression of things. You're going to see a design concept. There's collaboration that goes into that, working with our clients. A lot of times we're creating different iterations of designs until folks are happy. So if you peruse these albums, you're going to see that. You're going to see concept, you're going to see collaboration, and you're going to see the final images. So I thought maybe it would be beneficial to quickly show you someone local to you folks. So here's Pinehurst Resort. This is a project we did a few years back. We built some custom casework. This project started off as a 3D model. So we created 3D model, worked with them, and this is, I think, the third iteration and final design that we did for the space. So your project is going to be handled the same way with the help of Jay Morgan and Lisa, as well as Sanford at Kennedy. We got a hold of all the room finishes. The beautiful thing about the internet is I can take all these goodies and then create a 3D model of your space. So we're looking at your room, the carpets, the wall color, the base trim. Now I took some liberties, adding artwork, adding the company value statement on the wall. While we're in here, we're going to provide two credenzas for you folks, one at the head of the room and one on the side wall. The one at the head is a serving credenza. This is where you're going to have a granite top, a built-in Summit refrigerator, a trash and recycling pull-out on the left. This credenza, wood top, matching wood, interior, 2 adjustable shelves per bay. Both credenzas will have wire ventilation slots in the back, top and bottom of those credenzas. All right, so let me talk a little bit about your design. So with the help of the group, David, Buck, and Preston, we worked through a couple of different size options, originally thinking a 26-foot long table, 84 inches wide would suffice. We, through conversation determined that a 30-foot long, 96-inch wide boat-shaped table would fit very nice in the space, with 96 inches of space on either end, 110 inches of space from the edge of the table to the entry wall, and then we've got 54 inches of space behind chair to credenza. So very comfortable amount of space around the table. So size was determined. The other thing that we talked about and we determined is how to integrate power. So in keeping with the theme of a nice, beautiful top that is clean and highlights the branding of the table and highlights beautiful woods and beautiful patterns in wood, we decided it would make the most sense to integrate power on the underside of the table. So rather than clutter up the top of the table, what we've done is introduce power on the underside. So there's two powering USB directly under the table surface, set 8 inches back from the front edge. If we're looking down here, you can see that the position of each power port are between two seats so that folks can reach down to the right or left without reaching across someone else's lap to gain access to power. Next detail I want to talk about is our base structure. So we've got this big old behemoth of a table, big 30-foot long table. So how do we support that adequately? Well, you've got to have a nice support, a good base structure that does that. We have a 4-pedestal base, 3 bridge units. Each pedestal will have a removable access panel, levelers, hollow for wire management. The bridge units that you see here, bridge units have steel strut that runs along the length as well as across the table. And then you can also see here how we connect parts and pieces. Integrated into that structure are hand knobs, 1.5-inch large hand knobs that connect to threaded inserts. So this is how all the parts and pieces will connect. So base parts to each other, top to base will be connected using large hand knobs that are secured and inside the base. This is a completely hollow structure in that it's got unobstructed wire passage. So if I get inside the table here and we go through, this is completely open the whole way through the 30 feet of table. So you can get wiring from one end to the other without any issues. Power ports that are on the underside of the table, they will be mounted to the underside. Wires will come off the backside through the pedestal and then throughout the table. We've got 3 different finish options I'd like to review with you. We can do our standard finish, which is an open pore polyurethane finish. So it means just that. It's an open pore structure. So our polyurethane is waterproof, very durable. So what we do is we add enough to seal and protect the table, but you can still see the grain structure of the table. So the pitting, the natural grain structure is still visible in that design. Second option for finish is a full fill polyurethane finish. So here's the table we did for the Richard Nixon Library, a replica of the table he used while his administration was in office. And you can see here, this is a full fill, meaning we just add more coats of polyurethane that fills in that grain structure. It's a little bit of a richer look, a little bit more labor, a little bit more material cost. Last option is a high gloss polyester finish. This is the same finish that's used on a Steinway piano. It is very shiny, it is very labor intensive, it is expensive. It requires that we put one coat of polyester down, we flat sand it, and then we buff that with a series of grits to get to this high gloss finish. Back to our table design here. Let's talk about the top. Looking down at this top of the table, this is an 11-section top. The outer edge of the table is 3-inch wide by 1.5-inch solid cherry. The outer band of the table is curly anagray. The center panels are fumed oak. Curly anagray, this is a wood veneer. So a wood veneer is solid wood that is sliced very thin. So here's an image of that. So you're looking at one tree that is sliced in multiple sections. And so what this allows us to do is to utilize every bit and piece of that tree. So when you're talking about a 30-foot long table, when you're looking down at this, that means we can take that material and we can book match it the whole length of a 30-foot long table. So you've got consistent grain pattern, consistent color from one end of the table to the next. And you also have grain that carries then across your logo. The logo is handled as a traditional marquetry, meaning that we use our laser to cut parts and pieces, and we assemble those parts and pieces, glue them down to a substrate, and there is the integrated logo. So that will be perfectly flush and inlaid into the table top, as you see here in this example. Sketchup. So Sketchup's a great little tool. What's wonderful about it is it has plugins that allow us to do some nice photorealistic renderings that you see here. And this is just an example of what that would look like. Next topic I'd like to touch on is our process. So my role here, as you can see, is to clearly convey concept. So I've used a 3D model to clearly convey our concept. Beyond my department is the project management engineering departments. So once we receive a PO for a project, that means that AgCarolina has committed to work with Paul Downs cabinet makers. What that allows me to do is hand this off to our project manager, Andy Cole. Andy Cole will draft a proposal. That proposal will look similar to this: renderings, detailed drawings throughout. Now this gives you the opportunity to, if you want to make changes, we can do that. If you'd like to tweak the size of the logo, great, we can do that. We can make it a little smaller, a little bigger, whatever's required. Along with this proposal, you'll receive physical wood samples. We'll send you what we're proposing, as well as a few options to choose from. So once you've approved the drawings with any changes or requests that you might have, as well as the wood samples that were provided, once those two items are approved, Andy then hands things off to our engineering department. Our engineering department does the real heavy lifting. So it's their job to do all the shop drawing, DWG files, as well as CNC programming to get this project through completion. So that's what you're seeing here. So conception, collaboration, on to project management to present, then to our engineering for final shops and CNC programming, then off to the shop floor to build and fabricate. So that, in a nutshell, is what we've done here. That's what we'd like to do for you folks. And we're sort of at step one here. So thank you, David, Buck, and Preston for all the collaboration. I want to thank Lisa for providing all the information and Sanford for facilitating. I want to thank the board members for taking the time to watch this presentation. Derek, Stewart, Paul, Blake, Bundy, Audie, Rodney, Ellis, Jackie, Rob, and Eldridge. We really look forward to your feedback and continuing this process. We know our rich history of 35 years of experience will leave you with a table that will be cherished for many, many years. Best regards. Thank you much.